the Ruto president is trying to play into the narrative of tribal jingoism.
Yes.
And Mount Kenya, which we think, and Gashane will tell us, is it still at crossroads, or is it moved, or is it in Jigirigiji's back pocket? Which way forward?
I think
for
Mount Kenya, Ruto lost the grip.
Yes.
For Mount Kenya region. Kitambo sana. And one of his strategies of regaining trust is what Brian is talking about. He's trying to appoint people who could have some political influence so that they can actually be Gachagwa's checkmate. And he's doing that in full realization that this is the region that has actually left him. And it's unfortunate because instead of focusing on what the people want, he is trying to reintroduce ethnic balkanization so that he can have his way. To that effect, that tells us that all what he did after the Gen Z's protests, he did not understand what they wanted, because they were calling for accountability. They were asking the ministers not to vomit on their shoes. They were talking about opulence, but where are we now? We are back to where we were, square one. So instead of president understanding what Kenyans wanted when they went to the streets, he understood that they wanted this thing he's called broad-based arrangement. Kenyans were not calling for broad-based arrangements. They were calling for accountability. They were calling for to an aid on issues with corruption. They were calling. They were not called. They didn't care which the man from which tribe is on the top seat. No, they were calling for accountability. But unfortunately, even the people he fired when he dissolved cabinet, he fired people like Murkomen, who was flaunting expensive shoes and belts. What position is he holding now?
Interior.
Is he holding interior docket?
The most significant
docket in the country.
Yeah.
So I mean,
with that undisclosed budget.
It is actually called the confidential budget. This is the confidential vote is the one which is used to actually influence people like bloggers.
Yes.
So to drive a certain propaganda. It's called government sponsored propaganda.
Yes.
So the man at the helm of that budget is none other than Kipchumba Murkomen, the man people wanted out.
But I think Gashane raises a very valid point.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he talks about the president not understanding what the youth
wanted. Yes.
I tend to think that the president understood what they wanted, but he was not ready for any accountability.
Yes.
He wasn't, because he was being told it's as simple as, you know what, telling the police that this is how you should operate, keeping away from them, letting them run their things independently. As simple as firing the inefficient cabinet secretaries, keeping a government that's, ensuring that his government follows the law. But the president does not want to do that. Why? The big question I think should be, why does the president not want to, why doesn't he want to heed the call of the young people? Yeah. And it's a thing we see with other presidents, where they maintain unhealthy relationships with their security agencies. So it's a sort of scratch my back, I scratch yours. They enable the police to act in a way that, they want to act, so that whenever they want to use them for their political goals, it's easier to do so.
Yeah, it's called managing politics through the police. And Brian had written a very good piece on today's Standard, saying that where the buck
stops here.
You see, so and it is a very interesting piece actually, because when the president took over, he promised that he will end extrajudicial killings.
Yes.
He also vowed
to
establish a financial autonomy to the police service, so
and
that there is no police interference. That's what he said. And true to his word, he established the National Police Task Force. And do you know who he appointed to head the docket? To show his seriousness? former or retired Chief Justice David Maraga. And